Hi guys, so today's video is going to be a meet all of my pets. So I thought I'd introduce you to the ferrets first because I'm already in here. So the first lot of pets that I have are 4 ferrets. So this is the mum, and then we have the 3 babies who aren't babies anymore. So this one is Bacardi. I actually fostered these 4 while I'm at home. But yeah, so this one's Bacardi. She's about 2 or 3, I think. She's into everything, as you can probably tell by the fact she's climbing all over me. She can probably smell the treats, to be fair. But yeah, she's into everything, but she's a really sweet girl. She's never bitten or anything like that, unlike some of the others. So next we have the only boy in the group. So this is Kit. He is a very big boy. He is obviously big because he's male, but he's quite a large boy. He's an albino, so his mum's a sable, I forgot to mention. Kit is he's probably my favourite, aren't you? He's so laid back and so sort of just cuddly. He's a really, really lovely boy. We reckon he's about a year and a bit. He's fully grown, but he is he has got swimmer syndrome, as have his 2 sisters, which means that his little back legs don't work properly. But yeah, he's lovely. So next up we have Tequila. This is little Tequila. So this is little Tequila. She is the most disabled of all the ferrets, but she's lovely. So she's a white-footed sable. She's really small and she's got really small legs and a really small tail. She can be a bit nippy if she wants to be. You do have to be careful with her. It's just if she's in that mood. But she is generally really sweet, and she's just gorgeous. She's a good girl. I say it, she bites me. No biting. No biting. No. So last but not least, we have the naughty one of the family, and this is Martini. Martini is a little albino girl. You're very naughty, aren't you? She attacks your feet and really likes to bite shoes, but as you can see from when she's being handled, she is pretty good, and she will just sit and be handled, but she is lovely. All the kits are from the same litter, so they're all about a year and a bit old, but as I say, these are my 4 ferrets. So the next lot of animals I have are my rabbits. So 4 of them live outside and then 1 of them lives inside. So this one here is Nala. She's a black lion head bunny. She's really sweet. I've had her about 2-3 years now, coming up to 3 years. So she was a stray and I took her in. But she is a lovely bunch. She's quite cuddly, unlike my others. But she is very, very fluffy, and she doesn't really get on with any other rabbits. We've tried her with Dotty and they had a bit of a fight, hence why she lives on her own. But she's a lovely bun. You're a grumpy little bun. So Nala is quite grumpy. She's quite friendly at the same time, but she likes her own space, and if I come in and try and handle her when she doesn't want to be, she can be a little bit of a madam. So moving on to our next bunny, we have Dotty. She is a similar age to Nala. She's about 3 now. She's a lovely little bun. She does not like other rabbits at all. She is purely my rabbit because she doesn't even like my dad. She can be a bit aggressive with males, but she's quite good with me, and she's not too bad with my boyfriend. She seems to like him, but she is very selective who she likes, and she certainly does not get on with Nala at all. I actually have a scar on my hand where Dotty went to bite Nala and I got in the way. But apart from being a little bit aggressive, she's actually a really lovely bunny. She's very nervous, but she does like to go out and explore. She likes to see new places and go out in the run. She's always the first one to sort of like enjoy that, but she's more of a rabbit that you just have to let get on with her own thing. So my next 2 rabbits have access to the chicken run, which is outside now. So we have Rain in front and we have Ariel behind. Rain is a neutered male, he's the big white one, and then this is Ariel here, who's just hopping about. So they have their section in the shed, and then they have an aviary which leads out into the grass here. Rain has decided he doesn't want that fence to be there, apparently. So Rain is younger than Ariel. I think he's about 4, maybe even 5. He's quite energetic. He likes coming out and exploring. He was the first one out when they first had access to this area, and he just loves it. He just really likes being outside and doing his own thing, whereas Ariel is a lot more nervous. So this is Ariel, if my camera would focus. So that's Ariel over there. She's a lot more nervous, as I said. She sort of relies on Rain a little bit to sort of see where she wants to go. We used to have Aurora, her sister, who were from the same litter, and they were a trio, but we sadly lost Aurora. So Ariel's about 5, 6 now. She's a really nice rabbit though. She just likes to keep herself to herself. She doesn't really like people. She'd much rather just do her own thing, and I left her alone and just fed her. But Rain likes to interact with you a bit more than she does. Don't you? You're a bit of a grumpy bun. Yes, a bit of a grump. So as I mentioned, the rabbits are living in here, where that's where they come out of the rabbit shed. And in here we have 2 chickens with them. We have Roadrunner at the front, is the white one. We call her Roadrunner because she runs really fast. And then the one behind, the brown one, I just call Bully. I don't know if she has a real name. My dad might have given her a different name, but she just tends to bully the white one, so that's why we just call her Bully. So I don't really know that much about the chickens, other than I just feed them every now and again for Dad, and they lay eggs. But they are quite nice. We've had quite a few chickens over the years. I think we've had these a couple of years now. And as I say, the brown one's got quite an attitude. The white one's just quite skittish. We've had chickens in the past that were really friendly. You could come and pick them up and they like to be stroked and stuff, but these 2 don't really like human contact that much. They just like to walk around in their big section and just sort of stick together. But yeah, so they're the 2 chickens. So next up I have my 2 micro pigs. So this one here is Primrose, and we also have Pickle. Primrose is the black and white one. She's about 3 or 4. So they're Vietnamese, which is like the smallest breed, cross Cooney. Prim's really friendly, but they started fighting, so we've had to separate them. But yeah, so these are the piggies. So they just eat all the time and dig, hence why their paddock, which used to be all grass, is mainly mud now, just because they just tend to eat everything. But as you can see, Prim's really friendly. She used to have a thing with men, like she used to sort of try and bite my dad, but as you can see, she's fine with my boyfriend Greg. But yeah, she's a lovely pig. She is really sweet, and pigs are just so clever. You're a very clever girl, aren't you? So then we have Pickle. Pickle is ginger and black, but you can't really tell with their summer coat because they've just lost all their hair. So Pickle is from the same litter as Prim. He's neutered because they used to live together, but we'd have had him neutered anyway. Well, you've got all straw all over your face. You've been in bed. Pickle is slightly smaller. His snout is shorter. He's more like his dad, whereas Prim is more like her mum. But we have had them since piglets. I've got videos of them up from when they were tiny if you want to see them when they were little. Pickle absolutely loves scratching. His log is his favourite thing ever. And Prim really likes playing in water. They're sort of their little quirks that they have, but they are really friendly and they are so intelligent. Pickle does actually know how to sit on command, and he knew a few other commands when he was a baby, but as he's got older he's just decided not to listen to me anymore. Okay then, so moving on to my 5 horses, we'll start with Taffy. So Taffy is my old pony. He's retired now. He's actually 27 years old. He's a Welsh section C. He stands at 14 hands. The reason he's a C and not a D is because he's not breeding stock, being a gelding. I do get asked that quite a few times. But yeah, so he's a Welsh section C. He's retired due to respiratory problems and the fact that he's so old. As you can tell from the video, he does have a slightly dipped back. He's quite a cheeky monkey. Despite being 27, he doesn't act his age at all. He's really naughty. And he still has his Welsh attitude, that is for sure. But he's a lovely pony, so he'll spend the rest of his days just in his field, which he's more than happy to do. And yeah, so that's Taff for you. Next up we have Dan. So Danny is in the field next to Taff. Dan is predominantly my mum's horse. She actually bought him to do dressage on, despite the fact he is well and truly 100% a show jumper. Danny is bay, as you can tell, and he stands at about 16'3". So he's quite a big boy. He is an absolute diva, however, and if he's doing anything but show jumping, he's not happy. He's not in a lot of work at the minute, just because my mum's got all on with Lucy. But he is coming back into work next week. We're going to start working him, and I'm going to start riding him as well as my mum. So I do ride him sometimes, and hopefully once we've got him going a bit, I'm going to start jumping him, because I know a lot of people have requested that I do some jumping videos, but it's not doable with the other horses. However, Danny loves to jump, and despite the fact that because he's not done it in a while, he gets very excitable at the thought of jumping at the minute. We'll get there in the end. But yeah, so that's Dan. I don't know if I mentioned his age. He's actually 22, but he doesn't act his age at all. He's not got any health issues at the minute, touch wood. But yeah, he's a lovely boy. He's very gentle-natured, and he's a warm blood. Going from the largest horse to the smallest horse now, this is little Caramel. Caramel is the most recent horse we've had. She is 9 years old. She's the same age as Charlie. And she's a little Welsh section A. She's about 11 hands tall, so, or should I say short? She's actually really short. We bought her for my niece to ride. My niece is only 3, nearly 4, and this is her horse. It's for her to show on when she's a bit older, but for now I ride her. My niece gets on her every now and again, but obviously it's not really riding, she just sort of sits there at the minute. So luckily I am petite enough to still ride her. So I work her, my mum lunges her, and that's Caramel for you. She is an absolute diva. She is a nightmare on the ground. She puts her ears back, she tries to bite you, and she can kick you as well, but under saddle she's a little angel. But she's very much a mare. She's very marish, but she's such a pretty little thing, and she will definitely go on to win a lot of red rosettes when we show her, because she's just stunning, and she definitely knows her job. As soon as she's in that show ring, she is such a good girl. So her good points make up for her flaws and her attitude. So the 4th horse is Lucy. Lucy is a Irish sports horse. She stands at about 16'1" now, and she is 10 years old. So we've had Lucy from being a youngster, and she didn't get a lot of work because she actually injured her knee. So me and my mum have recently been working really hard on Lucy, to try and get her up to the fitness and the standard she needs to be as a 10-year-old. So she is finally coming right. We're finally getting her to the point where she's ready to compete at dressage. It's taken a lot of work. She's a very bolshy, strong horse, but that thoroughbred really comes out when you ride her, and she's very forward. But she's doing well. She's actually really getting there, but it's taken a lot of work. And we've got a trainer who's been working really hard with us on Lucy as well. But she's such a sweet-natured mare. She's just very, very strong-headed when she's under saddle. But I think she'll go on and do a lot. She's got the capabilities. It's just whether
she'll give in mentally and sort of let you be in charge and do what you say. Everything is a bit of a fight with Lucy, but on the ground she's a complete sweetie. She's not very marish at all, which is probably why I like her so much. I'm not the biggest fan of mares. I prefer my geldings, but I do love Lucy to bits. Finally, we have Charlie. So Charlie has a lot of different names. He gets called Charlie, he gets called Chunk, he gets called Charles if he's being particularly naughty. I also call him Mr. Moo. He just has a lot of silly names. But Charlie is completely my horse, so as I sort of share all the others. Charlie is 100% mine. I bought him during my first year at university, where he lived with me for a bit, and then I brought him home. So Charlie stands at 14.2, nearly 14.3, so he's just a small horse really. He's a traditional cob. I get asked that quite a bit, but he is a traditional cob. Obviously skew bald, as you can tell, he's brown and white, but he's a real cheeky chappy. He absolutely adores attention and he loves everyone. He's such a loving cob. And he's such a good boy. So with Charlie at the minute, I'm just riding him, schooling him, because he's not had that much schooling. So I'm just doing a lot of schooling with him, bringing him on, getting him used to it. He's done a lot of hacking in the past, but I want to get him so that I can show him and have a bit of fun out competing him as well. So that's what I'm doing with Charlie. One thing I'll mention after showing you all my horses is because I always get asked why are my horses in separate fields. And the reason for that is they're all really highly strung, they all are quite dominant, and none of them really get on apart from Danny and Lucy. But they can't live together because we can't bring one of them in without the other, and generally it's me and my mum that do the horses, but a lot of the time it's either me doing them or my mum. We don't do them together all that often, and if you have to bring them both in, it's just a nightmare. So that's why they're all separate. It's for convenience and it's also for them because a lot of them don't get on. But yeah, I just thought I'd cover that. So they're all my horses.
So a bit of a bonus pet. He's not actually mine, but I'm going to be looking after him for the next month or so. Is Squirtle the skunk. So he's actually my friend's skunk. He's about a year and a bit now. He is an unneutered male, and he is lovely, as you can tell. I'll do anything for his malt face. But yeah, I've got him because she had a fire at her house, and had no one to look after him, so I've taken him on for now. I don't want to give you back though, do we, Squirt? We don't want to give you back. But he is a lovely little skunk, so it's not every day you see a skunk and get to have him sat on your knee, but he's really sweet, and he has and my friend does have his daughter as well, but I've just got Squirtle for now. Yeah. So next up we have the dogs. So I have two dogs. I have Milo over here. Milo is a German Shepherd cross. We believe he's got a bit of Great Dane in him, and maybe even a bit of Lab as well. But Milo is getting on for about 5-6 now miles. I think he's about 5-6. But he's a lovely dog. He is really sweet. But he is the boss. So over here we have Anna, who we've not had that long. She's only about 10.5 months, 11 months. And she is a Staffordshire Bull Terrier cross, I think. She doesn't seem to be a full Staffy. And she is a little madam. She can be quite naughty. But she's getting there. She's just a puppy and she's still learning, so that's why. I'm bribing them both with a treat right now to get them to sit. Good boy, Milo. Take it nice. Take it nice. Good girl. But yes, these are my two dogs. We've got Milo and we've got Anna. Okay then, so moving on to pets that live indoors. I thought I'd show you Tallulah. So this is Tallulah. She is my little baby bunny. She's only about 10-11 weeks old, I believe now. She is really sweet. She's a little Netherland dwarf baby. And when I got her, she actually had a broken leg. and she came into my work at the time, I don't work there anymore, with a broken leg, and I said I'd take her on. So her leg's all fused now, and she's a lovely little bun, aren't you? But she's a lovely little rabbit, and she's doing really well. She lives inside in my room with me, just because she's too young to have to go outside, and see she's on her own as soon as she was in here with me free ranging. But yeah, so this is little Tallulah. Okay, so finally another pet that isn't strictly mine. This is my boyfriend's hamster called Theo. He's actually staying with me for the next week or so, but you probably will see him in videos every now and again because Greg's at mine a lot or I'm at Greg's. So yeah, this is little Theo. He's a little Syrian hamster. So he's about 4 months old now, but he is quite small, but I'd say he's a boy, and he's cream and white. But he's a lovely little hammy. I'm very confused. Very confused. I'm going to go back to sleep now, little mum.